Get your voice heard. When everybody is out there on the streets just waiting to go viral, you have another opportunity, and that is to come to anchor.fm. Download the free Anchor app and join us here at the What's the Play family. And make sure that you DM us here, Steven, at Who Cares the Podcast, or go to info@whatstheplay.net so you can join our family. We'll promote the shit out of you. We will promote everything about you. Make sure you're cool. We're not going to promote some of you weirdos. We're going to make sure we promote you, because everybody needs their voice to be heard. Everybody during this time needs that voice, right? Don't you need that voice? You can go global tomorrow. Just join anchor.fm. Go to anchor.fm to get started, all right? But make sure more than all that you join the What's the Play family. Info@whatstheplay.net will help you set it up. Will help you go through all the situational things that you need to do. And tomorrow morning, we'll make sure that you get your voice heard. 2021 is here, everyone. It's the Call of Duty. COD. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit around, be a pansy? Or are you going to go to what's-the-play.myshopify.com. If you go there, you'll get Cold War Russell Adler 80s version shirts. You'll get Frank Woods special edition t-shirts. You'll get Secret Agent Russell Adler tees and Vaporwave tees, all at your fingertips. You're practically in the middle of this war. Maybe, just maybe your son, if you don't know this song, then your son does. And if you know this song, then you owe it to your friends to get them What's the Play masks with a big What's the Play question mark to question everything in society that we are being thrown, just like when things are being thrown at us in Call of Duty COD. That's right, everyone. Go to what's-the-play.myshopify.com. There, you will be a true warrior.
You know, you can fill in the blanks. You know some of those guys.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of work done, but they're dysfunctional. I've heard you say creativity has to make money, otherwise it's boring. That sounds pretty controversial. It's not that I disagree, but most creatives don't make money from their creative work, right? Do you think that those people are just wasting their time?
Well, first of all, that's not true for everybody. It's just true for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I want to say that. There's plenty of starving artists that are not boring, or they don't think they're boring, and they're probably not. And I have a lot of respect for them myself. But for me, part of the creative process was hitting the register. That's part of the thing for me. It's all part of the same thing. It's not enough just to make a great shoe. It has to sell to lots of girls.
Mm-hmm. Hitting the register, like cha-ching, is that the sound you hear in your head when you're thinking about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the case with a lot of artists. I've actually heard Paul McCartney talk about this. You know, everybody thinks they're the Beatles. They were just these artists that didn't care about money or whatever. And nothing could be further from the truth. And they were no less creative, by the way. But Paul would say, and I heard him say this on an interview, that he'd say, him and John would write a song and he'd say, we just got a swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's another car. They understood that.
Welcome to the Who Cares podcast, a podcast that enters your soul with your host, Stephen Moraga.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Who Cares podcast. The Who Cares by me, Steven with a TH. That's right, I'm here once again with the most special of guests, You heard him last time. He's back here in the studio. Episode 61. I'm sorry, episode 62. Sorry. Sometimes we've done so many of these. Because a lot of times they say that most people who try podcasting only reach to about 15 episodes and then they just give up. We don't give up here at the Who Cares podcast. We do not give up. We don't give up on our listeners. We don't give up on our guests. We don't give up on humanity like everybody else seems to be doing. And one person who won't give up on you is Mr. Joe L. Joel. However you want to say it, it's Joel.
Wait, me?
Yes, you, Joel. How are you doing, and how do you feel being back here in the studio for round number 2 of the Who Cares podcast?
Doing pretty good. Up a little earlier than usual, but yeah, it's just another day hanging out with a good friend.
That's right. I mean, sometimes these are the things that we have to do, and I don't know if everybody really realizes this or not, but when you have this is kind of like our extracurricular activity, I guess, if you really look at it, the fun times, So we gotta shove them in when we can here early this morning, and when everybody else is asleep right now and not doing being a little lazy on this rainy day here in Southern California, we're up at the crack of dawn making sure that this podcast gets to the people.
Ditto.
Oh, man. So, Joel, you've been... Excuse me, let me take a drink here of... I'm not going to say what beverage it is because they're not paying me. But you've been hanging out here in Southern California for a while, and I just wanted to just kind of understand how you're liking it. We went to a couple of the fine establishments that only Southern California can offer. And I'd like to get your take on, just what you thought about these things. Because, here in Southern California, we take a lot of these things for granted. If you live in the Midwest, if you live in the South, if you live, Texas, I guess, has In-N-Out now. But, we take for granted a lot of these places. And maybe they're not that good. Maybe they are. But it sounds like you heard about them from the land that you came from.
Yeah, I tried a bunch of different, California type places, like In-N-Out, Del Taco, and just...
In-N-Out and Del Taco.
Oh, and Jamba Juice. That was my favorite.
Jamba Juice was your favorite out of all the 3?
Definitely.
No, are you serious right now? And you liked all of them?
Oh, yeah, but... yeah, Jamba Juice was probably my favorite one.
Well, Jamba Juice isn't paying us, but Jamba Juice, if you're out there, you realize that you touched this man's heart. You touched him in places that he's never been touched before in the Midwest.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, like the Orange Dream one, but...
Orange Dream.
That, and something else after that, but I can't remember, but yeah, that shit was fire.
Dream Machine. No?
Yeah, Orange Dream Machine, I
Orange
think.
Dream Machine.
I can't remember for sure, but...
Machine.
But yeah, that shit slapped.
So if we take them in order, we went to Del Taco first. And what'd you get there? You got...
Shoot, I don't even remember. I got the crispy chicken taco. I got...
Yeah.
It was
a mango one, or it was like a...
Yeah, it was like mango something.
Mm.
And then I got it was some type of burrito. It had like queso in it. That was pretty good.
Queso in the burrito.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. So Del Taco, we did eat it a little cold. We were doing a bunch of work that night, so it kind of lukewarm on us. But then we also went to In-N-Out, and it was funny because I was over there ordering blah 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 animal style da da da, and then I just turned to you expecting, but then you're like, wait a minute, what do I order? But then you looked at the menu, and there's only 3 or 4 things, so you're able to deductive reasoning in that situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so you got cheeseburger, regular or double with, but you got onions, and I just don't understand that. Maybe anybody else out there can explain to me. If you like onions on your burger, go ahead email me at steven@whocaresthepodcast.com and tell me why I'm wrong, why you should have onions on your goddamn burrito, on your goddamn burger.
I don't get them on there every time, but if like one comes with them, like, you know, I'm not gonna be upset. You know what I mean? Like I could take them, like I could take them or leave them.
Good, because I can leave them, and I say, down with onions, up with more pickles, and whatever else you want to put on there. More patties, more cheese, just anything but onions. Onions to me take over the burger. I mean, it's just, that's a fact of life. How about this? I've heard of people not getting cheese on their burger, and that is bizarre. They like it. They actually prefer hamburgers over cheeseburgers. Do you know these people?
Yeah, I had a buddy that was like that.
He's an alien.
He would ask for no cheese. I mean,
wow.
Maybe he just doesn't like it that much, or he could have like a dairy issue, and like that could be.
Oh, that's well. Right. See, Joel, you're always looking out on the bright side of things, but you're also looking out for the people. You know, honestly, man, you have taught me many things, or not taught me. I've learned many. Taught me nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I've learned many things from you, and you've shared, you know, your experiences, and it's given me a totally different perspective on a lot of things that I, you know, at the ripe young age of 2019, that I, you know, I just took it as fact, you know, and I really didn't see it through different eyes, you know. So I'd like to thank you for that. One of these things, a couple of things you brought to my attention. We were talking about college, I guess, earlier.
That came up while we were talking. Like,
right now it's a big deal. But it's a big deal, meaning the subject is a big deal. We're not really sure if college is a big deal.
Yeah, the subject comes up a lot, mainly because of just like the high increase in prices for tuition.
Right. And why is that? Did everything become smarter, or did the teachers become better, or did their salaries just become higher for them to just spout opinion? And because, you know, look at basically the overall theme is those who can't. What's the term? I don't even know right now. Those who do, and those who can't teach. Right. That's the overline. You know, of course, there's like, you know, people that want to go back and teach if they're the CEOs of companies and things of that nature, but that they would just have a hair up their ass. They want to go to Harvard and, you know, do a couple classes. But for the most part, most of these people are failed in their industry, and then they go and teach. And they like the ability to just sit there and be part of the class life. They don't want to grow up either, and they want to be looked upon as some scholars with knowledge and wisdom. And really, they're just not getting out there in the world for real. And they've just read a lot of books and read a lot of information and read a lot of opinion. And then they start to manipulate all the minds with their loser attitude, is what I think is. That's not the opinion I share by Joel, though. I don't think that's the... What do you think?
I think anybody who decides to teach, you know, whether it's college or, you know, any other grade, I think that's admirable, you know. Requires a lot of patience, like it definitely is doing. It's like you do a lot as a teacher, like a lot of planning, a lot of teachers have even, like, you know, used their own money, you know, for supplies for class, you know, that the university didn't improve.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on the fact that kindergarten through, you know, these teachers are poorly financed in all aspects of their job, and including their wages. I mean, their wages are terrible. But that's not horrible. The case with college professors.
Oh yeah, I never went to college, so I never really got to experience that.
They are something else. I don't know about community college. I think that sometimes they do it for the love of the student. Sometimes I think, possibly, if there's ever a college professor, if you want to call them, why do they get to be called professors, but the other ones get to be called teachers, and they get something called tenure. High school teachers don't get that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one is like more important than the other.
In fact, if anything, studies show that your formative years are much more important. So if anything, we should be paying the kindergarten teachers much more than the babysitters that we have in college.
Definitely. Teacher salaries need to go up tremendously.
Teacher salaries up, college professors down. There, we solved the college. Hey, have you ever thought about being a podcaster like myself? Well, you can't be like me, but I want you to be that innovative, that wonderful, spectacular voice that the world needs. But you got to come to the What's the Play family, because we moved over here to Anchor. We left Spreaker behind and we moved over here to Anchor.fm, because Anchor is your one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it's ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, like myself, so you can get paid to podcast. So remember, go to anchor.fm/start and join me and the What's the Play family. You know how to get a hold of me, and make sure you do it today, because I can't wait to hear your podcast. Crisis. No, but what were you saying? The college tuition is going up tremendously, and we were kind of talking about how it's becoming unaffordable, but maybe if it's free for everyone, like they're talking, then that cures that, right?
Yeah, that's an option. Or make some kind of cap for, how much these universities are charging their students, possibly. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's become way more expensive than what it needs to be. Yeah, and the one person on the one program, I don't know if it's really talked about them. I guess it is. It's probably talked about all the time. But who's the government official? I mean, in most states, I'm not government official, government worker, I guess, I guess it'd be government worker, that is paid the most by far. Yeah, I want to say public service worker, or whatever the case may be. It's paid by the people. Who in most states do you think is by far that? Would it be the governor? No. Would it be the treasurer, the attorney general? No. It's usually that state's predominantly the largest school's football coach. Really? Yeah, by far they make the most money. They make upwards of $3, $4, $5 billion, $6 million, and the school pays for that. Like the high maybe school, more. The high school coach? No, the college. I'm sorry. Did I say high school? I thought you said high school. Oh no, the biggest university. So say it's UCLA, because USC is private here. So I would say maybe UCLA's coach probably gets the highest, has the highest paying job in California. Or, no, I wouldn't think Berkeley or anything of that. So yeah, it's possible that it is possible. It's California though too, and they like to steal. So maybe he's not the highest paying position in all of the state. Isn't that crazy? Like more than any other government official?
What'sThePlay.net, the answer to all of your questions right now in this time of crisis, this time of uncertainty. The only true thing in this world is What'sThePlay.net. You go to What'sThePlay.net and you type in your question, and one of our staff members will help you out, whether it's to get your mom to the doctors, whether it's to get your EBT, whether it's to get your stimulus check, it doesn't matter. Or maybe it's whether to deal with all the uncertainness that comes with this. So, maybe your relationships is not going the right way. It doesn't matter. Go to what'stheplay.net and all of your problems will be a lot easier. I promise you. A lot easier. So remember, today, tomorrow, the next day, in these times of uncertainty, we are praying for each and every one of you, making sure that each and every one of you are healthy. But the only way we can do that is working together as a community. So remember, go to what'stheplay.net, and together we will solve all of life's issues that they're throwing at us. Remember, what'stheplay.net. So, Mr. Joel, while you partake in all the luxuries that afford you here in California that are legal and maybe not in your home state, what do you think? Does it feel nice?
It feels the same. For real. Yeah, it's pretty much the same experience. I never really tripped into over whether it was illegal or not. I just maybe I should care more about the law. I don't know.
I mean, some laws you care about, some you don't.
Yeah.
I think that goes for everybody. I think that this law in particular that we're talking about, the marijuana law, is, I don't know if anybody's really cared about it for the last, 50, 60 years, except for a couple cops here and there. Actually, a lot of cops who put back, not just like 10 years ago. I remember I have a friend, Glenn. He went to Twin Towers for 2 weeks for like less than a gram of weed. Spent 2 weeks there.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy, right? You know, the story is about marijuana. I don't know if anybody out there realizes this, but I'm sure you guys do, because you guys are a very knowledgeable audience, but I just thought I'd tell you the old story about marijuana. Well, the gentleman that owned all the newspapers during the day, William Randolph Hearst, I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not.
No, never heard.
Never heard of him? Okay, well, here in California, he has Hearst Castle, but he owned every major paper within the country, and he was probably the most powerful man because he controlled all the information. So it was kind of like we were North Korea back then, because we just had pretty much one source for news. So if the president wasn't cheating on his wife, then he wasn't cheating on his wife. If a celebrity wasn't doing something, then they weren't doing anything. And it was pretty much everything was bought off. So when everybody says the good old days were the good old days, I hate to argue with you, because at least now we have a bunch of idiots in the media, except for one complete mogul that runs everything. So this mogul, he owns many, many lumber yards, many forests. I don't know if he owns the forests and the lumber yards. He probably did, because the only way to get to the lumber there is to chop down some trees.
Right.
And so he owns all this, and the only thing stopping him is a much cheaper way to print all the way that newspapers have been printed on prior to this was hemp. So what does he do? He goes to all his influential buddies and all his buddies in all the different levels of government, in local, state, and to the highest offices. Says, you know what? This marijuana thing needs to be banned because it's making people rape. It's making people kill. It's making people act crazy. They do things that they would have never have done when in reality they, listen to some good music, eat a lot, maybe fall asleep. That's about the extent of it, right? And be creative and, whatnot. Maybe in on the plus side, lower anxiety, right?
Yeah, I heard.
Or raise it.
Or what?
Or raise anxiety. I don't know, depending on the person, right?
Yeah, it affects different people differently.
Right, but it's not even close. It's not even close to the destruction and the mayhem that alcohol has created, right?
Yeah, definitely not even close.
So then they came out. That wasn't enough, so they banned it or whatever. I'm not sure what year it was. I don't know if it was in the Roaring 20s or if it was in the early 30s. I think it was in the early 30s. And I think if they banned it during the time of Prohibition, Prohibition and the Great Depression, and people didn't have some goddamn weed to smoke instead of and they're emptied out all the barrels of whiskey. I mean, what kind of country is this that we live in? Why would they ever fight for it in World War II? I would have never fought for this country.
I forgot about that. Like, alcohol was illegal back then too. Like,
Jesus Christ, he was upset too.
But people got around that stuff too.
Yeah, in cool ways. They went to speakeasies.
Yeah, I think that just makes it more fun for real.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know, because it kind of like when they made it legal, it's like, okay, now it's not dangerous. You don't get as excited over like Kind Nug.
Shit, I haven't heard Kind Nug in I don't know how long.
That was the last time you heard Flower though. Just yesterday.
Yeah. So someone was telling me like everyone out here calls it Flower, and I was like,
Flower.
Yeah. I was like,
what a great marketing term. I mean,
it does flower though. Like,
it does.
It would. I mean, it makes sense. I've just never called it that though.
Flower. What was the last time you heard anybody say, I'm baked?
Yeah, I haven't heard that since like middle school.
Right, and Dave Chappelle made a movie called Half Baked, so now that sounds really stupid. And not everything Dave Chappelle does turns to gold, and it should never sound stupid, but now his movie is kind of outdated.
Now that movie's still funny.
All right,
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's great. Guy on the couch. But yeah, and what's weird about that is that nobody really knew Chappelle like they did a couple years later. Can you believe that? Those are rough times.
He was just getting started, like when that movie came out.
Yeah, well, yeah, of a starring role of something.
Like starring in a movie.
He was actually in Robinhood, Prince of Thieves. Did you ever see that, or something like that?
No, I've never seen it.
Maybe it's not Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Maybe it's Robin. It was the parody one of Robin Hood. Did you ever see that? It's a Mel Brooks movie or something.
No, I've never seen it before.
He played like one of like Friar Tuck or something, or like Big John or Little John.
Okay, is that a funny movie?
I don't know. I don't know about that one. Mel Brooks has funny movies. I don't know if that one's really good. I don't know if I've ever really watched the whole thing through, so that would, I guess it's probably not that funny. I never mind about that one. Well, that just shows you, like we learned today on Twitter, like they taught us today. Did you know Twitter taught me something today?
Oh, what did it teach you?
Something about getting done. I don't know what it is exactly, but they really are excited about this.
Oh yeah, you were showing me it.
Yeah, what was your takeaway on it? Do you remember the hashtag? Right? It doesn't stick really, huh?
I'm trying to remember what it
will.
was.
It's not. It will get better because then they would take it from the gay community.
Like in the end, they say done.
I know. Like, is it like get her done? Like the cable guy that.
No, it's not that
one. Guy, because that's totally two different audiences, I would think. What is it? Here we go. Oh wow, Miley Cyrus is really, I guess she did an amazing Tiny Desk concert. I mean, I love the Tiny Desk concerts. I don't know about you, Joel, but I love
Tiny Desk concerts.
Yeah, like everybody, like Mac Miller did one, or all the it's like in a room and they got books. And they do like just, and it's not acoustic, but it's like a more of an organic, instruments only kind of set. You've seen them all.
Oh yeah.
So I guess Miley Cyrus did one. Maybe we should play a little bit of her song here. See what actually. Oh wow! Actually, it's not up anymore.
Oh, it's not.
Interesting. Good Friday. Finally Friday. Huh. Interesting. So that was really just, Chris Cuomo's. I guess nobody likes him anymore. Uh-oh.
Who's that, Chris?
He works at CNN or whatever. I guess his brother is being investigated for hiding a bunch of deaths during COVID. I remember his brother was like he knew it was right or something. Now looks like he's done. Who knows?
Shit.
I know. It's pretty. What did we see? I mean, we just saw it like a couple hours ago. That just goes to show you what's going on in the world. It's 1 minute you're on top of the world, and the next you're GameStop. Do you know what happened with GameStop?
I know a little bit of it. A lot of people were buying. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were buying.
Oh, I will.
They were like several people. A couple million people were buying stocks off GameStop, and it ended up increasing the market value of the stock by a lot, which caused like really wealthy shareholders, like in the billions, to lose money.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure Robinhood, which was the app that people were trading on, and they ended up closing off. Like you can't buy any more stocks.
That's crazy. How does that affect my Robinhood earnings? That's ridiculous. So just when you start to make money because they don't have the checks and balances in place, you can't earn anymore. Like what happens when I don't want to lose anymore? Can I put checks and balances in place? Can I put like a little buffer, like a little pad. I mean, you can. There's a point of sell, right? But besides that, this is what's happening, man. They're making up rules. I mean, obviously they have that at their disposal, but they're making up rules all across the board. It seems like what it seems like to the people is they're making up rules. I'm reading it right now. What happened? A Reddit forum spiked it. Can you believe that? They became the boiler room.
Yeah, it started on Reddit.
Right. That's how powerful a Reddit forum is. Wow. Do we have a Reddit forum? Oh, if we do, somebody get to work on that for the Who Cares podcast Reddit forum. Maybe we can get this stock to jump through the roof. What do you think?
To increase our stocks, you're saying?
My stock is on the rise. I don't know about yours. This could be like crashing. But not really, because you're like the number one requested guest here on the Who Cares podcast. We've been getting email after email after email. That was such a great episode last week with Miss Meg Lee and yourself, the Southern Belle, and yourself, the other Southern man. But not really. You're the Midwest man.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the Midwest man. Because you can. And so, what's interesting about this whole GameStop, I'm reading about this thing right here, is that, remember I was talking to you, right as soon as you said something about it, and I didn't get a chance to take a look at it, because I don't like to really watch the news, because why? It's all baloney anyways. But that you said that it had something to do, and I said right away, well, it's a pump and dump, old-fashioned pump and dump scheme, right? But this is the caveat, is the fact that a Reddit forum influenced stock app, and they just went nuts with it, and they just were playing games with it, and they were able to boost that. So now technology has infiltrated Wall Street, so now we know that technology has now pissed off the people in charge, the bankers. It's only a matter of time before the bankers in Silicon Valley meet like an Old West, the OK Corral or something. No, but it's gonna be wild now. I bet you that this is now all the wheels are gonna be turning. I don't know how they didn't see this, but now the banker, probably because they're just bankers and they can't think outside of banking. How are we gonna be able to fight off this onslaught? Because now, I don't know why they didn't realize it. They're going to be able to be manipulated. Maybe, but on the other side, maybe it's possible they were both in on it. Or maybe rogue bankers who want to be tech guys, who are now actually in Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley has been getting the advice recently of Wall Street. And that's what they say is actually corrupting Silicon Valley as we hear it. So there's a whole list of different scenarios. It's possible. Maybe. Possibly.
Yes, so much could happen from this. It's like, who knows how things are going to change tomorrow.
What do you say? If you touch something with COVID, you can give yourself COVID, right?
Yeah.
But you can't give yourself an STD.
No.
Like, what if you finger bang something that's like some strange...
So he didn't.
Then you go back and jerk off.
So that he got it from somebody else.
No, he gave it to himself.
But he touched somebody else's privates and
Did you say privates or not?
Yeah.
We were talking about that the other day. Private parts?
Like he put his finger in, somewhere that had an STD.
But there are two different types of diseases. Like STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, as in they can only be transmitted.
Well, what are you doing when you're jerking off? Is that not a sexual act? That could be a sexually transmitted disease.
If you put his finger in somebody's like vagina or somebody's hole,
what if you
that
have
had
a
an
tick?
STD?
What if you have a tick when you're jerking off on your finger? Would that be a sexually transmitted disease?
You get Lyme disease?
No, because that disease isn't sexually transmitted.
Well, you got it from, if you hadn't touched your dick, you wouldn't have got it.
What if you touch somebody's cold sore on the lip and then rub it all over yourself?
Yeah, when you touch somebody's herpes on their lip or something. You're like, oh, nah. And then you go jerk off, and now you got herpes on your dick. Is that a sexually transmitted disease?
No, that's not herpes. It's herpes syntax too.
Syntax. Yeah, syntax. Simplex. Syntax. This is a computer program. I don't know. Is that interesting? Or not really? I'm totally off base on this.
I don't know, but why does everybody have...
What Herpes?
HPV.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's become like the new
Why?
thing.
Yeah, and everybody's cool. They're like,
Well,
yeah,
it's like,
I have it.
Everyone's chill. Like if they,
Yeah, it's like, whoa, hey, everybody.
Because
Like,
everybody has it.
no, not everybody has it.
I don't. You say that. You say you don't.
I don't. Good fucking Mike.
I know I've been exposed, but I went to the doctor, and they said you have to have like a wart for us to tell.
I think they can test it in your blood.
That's what I thought too, but they said it was in there. Here.
Really?
Yeah. I used to have a girlfriend that I used to have to put the cream on, and she blamed me for it. I said, I don't got none of that shit.
But you know what's weird? I
went to the doctor.
The weird thing is that I think guys, for some reason, like
What?
can almost like get rid of it, where girls
We also don't die from
will
it.
have
You guys like
outbreaks.
die from it.
And I think girls get like outbreaks of it.
Yeah.
You know, which
What do we
where
do?
Guys don't,
Well, guys are better.
which is weird.
Guys are better than you.
And is HPV the same? Is that herpes?
No.
No, it's different.
Warts?
Warts.
Warts. Warts. That's crazy.
She said it like she's never heard the word warts.
No, I'm just saying like. Just
Well, in the year 2021, Megan.
HPV.
Are you going to get HPV this year?
I fucking hope no. That's why I don't.
No, then you're not doing your job right. You're not
I
going
know.
out there and fucking unattractive
Once
people
when
like
that
they
whole
want you to do.
HPV thing got like
Megan,
all popular,
do it for the unattractive. Go fuck unattractive people this year.
I don't want to get
Do it for them.
HPV. Everybody has.
This
HPV.
is the year of the unattractive.
I don't want to have HPV.
Give them love, so they don't riot.
Because HPV.
Everyone's attractive if you have an open mind. But yeah, I just got on my phone and I was trying to read up on some more information and on the whole thing, and some of the restrictions have been lifted on Robinhood as far as like trading for GameStop.
Wait, what? What are you saying?
Sorry, I wasn't close to my mic. I just looked at my phone real quick to try to look up some more information on it, and apparently some restrictions have been lifted on the GameStop trading on Robinhood.
So now they stopped trading. They stopped allowing people to make money, and now after that, they can allow people to make money. So people who are actually killing it at a certain point, sorry, you can't make money. But now we decided we just want to put a diversion or what this word all morning has been escaping me, a disruption within the system.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, I don't really know what's.
If I were the people I don't know the whole scenario. We probably shouldn't even be talking about this because we have no idea what we're talking about. We haven't looked at it. You just looked at it briefly, and you gave us a late breaking news here. I mean, that's fantastic. What was it? Late breaking news with Joel. The best in the Midwest comes with GameStop news.
I'm just reading off what I saw on Facebook. Like I just know some people made a lot of money off of it, and then I just got everything. And I saw Facebook. I just know that a bunch of people made a lot of money, or maybe they didn't make money, but by buying all those shares, it caused some really wealthy people to lose a lot of money, and that made them and a lot of like higher up people mad. But that's all I really know about it.
So I think I have a couple different apps that I put money in. I think I have Stash. I don't have Robinhood because I felt that Robinhood came along kind of too late. And it's interesting. We said, wow, look at that. We were just talking about Dave Chappelle and Robinhood Prince. It all comes full circle. We just talked about Robinhood Prince of Thieves, or Men in Tights. That's what it's called. Dave Chappelle was in Robinhood Men in Tights. And what do you know? It does a complete 360, not a 180, because if it was a 180, it would go on to, where would it go? It did a 360.
A 180 would be like...
On the Robinhood scale, what would it be? Little John? Sheriff of Nottingham?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Just... I don't know. I guess it would be whoever's a 180 would be like the complete opposite. So whoever's like the opposite of Robin
who's
Hood.
taken from the rich and given back to the rich? Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein. Who's that guy? The one that Madoff, Bernie Madoff. He stole from the rich, and nobody really cared, except for the feds.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, okay, so 180 would have been Bernie Madoff. We circled all the way around back here, back to Robinhood. The theme of we're going to have to call this Robinhood. This podcast has to be called Robinhood. And just like Robinhood, we do steal. We steal your hearts. Every fucking episode, we steal your hearts. And we are love bandits here at the Who Cares podcast. On that train, robbing you of your innocence, robbing you of the ability to not think. We actually give you the ability to think every single episode. And Joel, I think you make an interesting point. I think you told me off air here that maybe we shouldn't really breach on this subject because what do we know? We just know Robinhood. He's still in our hearts. That legendary hero. Was he alive? Was he actually? He was not a real historical figure, right? No, he was not. That's absolutely wrong. He was not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What were you just saying? Like you said that, with who you said was the opposite of Robin Hood.
It would have been Bernie Madoff, right? Because he robs from the rich and gives to the rich. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Or you'd have to rob from
it would be stealing from the poor.
Really stealing from the poor. Okay,
and
who's that?
To the rich.
That's right. Bernie Madoff actually is a better person than the person that steals from the poor and gives to the rich. That would be our U.S. government.
Yeah.
There you go. The U.S. government is the antithesis of Robin Hood. Duh. Well, what kind of hours? Folks, it's early in the morning. Why did I say folks? America, Holland, and I know we have some Dubai listeners, which is very interesting. We also have Ireland popping up, giving us love. Ecuador. I don't speak Ecuadorian. Or is that Ecuadorese? Ecuadesa? What do they speak there?
In Ecuador?
Yeah, Ecuadorian, right? Or
I actually have no clue. I have no clue at all.
Well, if you know what they speak in Ecuador, what language? I mean, Spanish, duh. What do you mean, what do they speak over there? Spanish. God.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really early. This is two people on a rainy morning here. It's easy like a rainy morning. That's all it is. All right, so let's get off the Ecuadorian topic. Let's get off Robin Hood's ass. Oh, by the way, no, but if anybody knows, was Robin Hood... Here we have so much to talk about. The stock market influx. We're talking about P&L. We're talking about all the metrics that have to do with the stock market. But we still don't know if Robin Hood was an historical figure or not. We're both probably going to say on the side of not. Nottingham. I'm trying to link too many different things. I'm kind of getting delirious, I think. This might totally be cut out right there. So, anyways, Joe, I think what's interesting though, when we talk about Robin Hood, we transition. We talk about one of the best attributes that I think that you have kept throughout your life is looking. So that was a children's novel, was it, Robin Hood? So, what is the secret to your success? How do you keep a level head and an innocence in a world that has gone banana?
You just gotta have to not care. It is what it is.
Cliche.
But it works.
Fair enough. But yeah.
Yeah, just just don't take things too seriously. Don't take anything seriously, and you'll.
Wow, nothing.
I can't say that. You gotta take some stuff seriously, but you just gotta know when to pick and choose battles, and if one's taking too much of your energy, you just gotta let it go. Like, just move on to the next.
I think you beat the record for all cliches ever. Let it go. Move on to the next. Pick your battles.
So we leave the Robinhood escapades and the abuse that the sheriff of Nottingham did to those band of merry men to another sheriff in 1970. A couple hundred years later, maybe, but to another band of merry men. Only this time their leader wasn't Robin Hood. It was another activist. And Joel, I think it's time for you to get this story straight for the people, because what you told me earlier, we're talking about Stonewall. It happened 1970s-ish, early 80s?
No, it was actually 1969.
Wow, 1969. That's actually longer ago. That actually does go back a little farther than I was thinking. But still, that's ridiculous. From my understanding is I've heard something about it. And, during this climate of, I guess things don't change that much, right? We're still having ridiculous police brutality on segments of population that sometimes don't have a voice. But like everything evolves, hopefully we're going to be evolving. And but this was a very dark time in our history, and I don't know if it really gets a light shined upon it. And so something happened. Some gay guys were hanging on a bar all the time, and the police didn't like it. They were kissing up on each other, and they came in. They said, "Don't you do that, or we're going to hurt you." And they did a couple times. Or what's the story, Joel?
Back then, bars that served gay people, they they weren't able to get licensed and stuff because of anti-LGBTQ laws.
Wow.
And so many of them ran unlicensed, and then and then police would come in and raid and shut them down.
But so we've been talking about prohibition earlier. What the fuck would they break up? I mean, obviously they break up the people there, but, during Prohibition, they'd actually break open the barrels of alcohol and, make a big scene and all that. What people are just congregating, and because they choose the same sex, they can't. That is unbelievable. That doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, that's how we're not that far removed from that era that they enforced that law.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like how not that long ago these things happened.
Man, these bars, and I bet you it was not just. It's never that just gay people. There's, I'm sure, friends and mixtures of all, or was it just a gays only bar?
I mean, I don't know if it was. It was mostly gay people. Well, it was a dangerous time to be gay or lesbian back then. Like you had to fear being killed by people and shit. Like, it was.
That's crazy. And we're talking in a metropolitan, the largest metropolitan city of the United States, right? It was in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York.
Upstate or in New York? Yeah.
I want to say it was like Greenwich.
That's kind of but that's the artsy, whatever, colony or area where all the art, avant-garde. Anyways, area of New York, and so that's interesting because that's probably at the time, even back then, I would think the rent would be high. So, man, it sounds like the police just had it out for him. So what happened on this? They were busting this place up a bunch of times, or they told them they can't be a bar.
Yeah, they just came in and raided it, and they started, assaulting, different patrons that were there, and then there's rumors about like who threw the first one, but someone threw a brick at the police, and then it just people just started fighting back.
They probably didn't think that this crowd would be anything they can't handle. That's just my assumption. And I bet you it permeated to the cops. That's why they gay bar. If that made the news, holy shit. If the gays took over and beat the cops' ass, in 1969, those guys would have got those bar patrons would have got the death penalty.
Yeah, yeah, shows fucked up back then.
The good times really that good?
Probably, yeah, not really. And they looked at stories like cool to hear now, but like back then, it wasn't a cool time at all. It went on for, I think, a few weeks.
It went on for a few weeks. Oh, the protests and things of that nature.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It was it wasn't just a one night thing that happened.
Right. That's interesting. Well, I would like for everybody out there to research that, because history does repeat itself in some different ways, and communities getting fucked with for just being themselves, not hurting nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how many bar fights came out of that bar as comparative to like a bar down the street. I bet you not even, there may be a lot of good dancing going on over there, but definitely not the bar fights. I bet that the other bars in that area. I would be interested to see that statistic from that time period. And yet they picked on that bar. Huh. I bet there was a lot of, I was going to say ABBA, but that would have been later on. And Queen. So right now, Joel, we have here in California, speaking of clowns in government, we're talking about Gavin Newsom here, and he has lifted, because just 2 weeks ago, we had, it was the biggest crisis here in California. The emergency rooms are overflowing with patients, and I'm not discounting that they weren't. I'm sure that's probably pretty accurate. However, that was only last week, and now this week, all of a sudden the stay-at-home orders are kind of getting lifted, and I'm not a smart person by any means, but if I were a betting man, I'd say that maybe Gavin Newsom is feeling the heat, and he's risking people's lives per his instructions that he's been going off of. He's totally going against those instructions. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I have no idea. I mean, what's right and what's not. But I do know that just last week we had the most massive cases in this winter time of crisis, and now this week, hey, why don't you guys get out there, and all of a sudden the hospitals have less cases. And Long Beach said that they are not getting enough vaccinations, and it's not their fault because they don't care about their citizens.
The whole thing's scary. And it suggests, to all of our listeners, just, if you're still scared, just do the best you still can to protect yourself. Don't go to places if you're not comfortable. Always wear your mask when outside.
Yeah, just wear your mask.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Please, people, wear your mask.
Yeah, it's not you're not making any political stand. We get it. You don't want to wear it. I mean, who cares? But do it for the old lady that may be in line at Ralph's over here in Southern California. I don't know, what do you guys over have? Winn-Dixie, maybe where you're at, or what do you have over with some other supermarkets? I'm just trying to relate. Whatever. In the supermarket, the old lady that's probably scared to death because you're over there spitting, because usually the people that don't wear masks are a little heavy set, right? So they tend to spit more, So that poor old lady behind there is seeing all this spit flying out of their mouths, and they're like, man, they're scared to death. It might go into their eye socket, the droplets, Can you just wear a mask?
Yeah, just so just so people who are older or have, pre-existing conditions, immune system problems,
we're not doctors. And even the doctors aren't doctors. So just do it for the older people and put their mind at ease. Just wear the damn mask. You're not belonging to fascism or communism by doing that. You're just looking like a damn idiot if you don't.
Yeah, no one thinks you're cool.
Nobody. Because you know what I've found from wearing masks, Joel? I've found it's done two things. It's alleviated my ability to smell other people's horrible breath when they talk to you.
Yes.
That's fantastic, because that's the worst thing. Especially when people are getting about their 50s and stuff, and they lean over to you and they got that musk, kind of thing going on. I don't know what happens, but maybe something goes down. But then also, it keeps people from actually coming up and talking real close to you when you don't really want to talk to anybody. So I think in some ways, the mask and the distancing has really been a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, we could all use a little space from each other. even after this is over, I'd prefer for people to stay 6 feet away.
Absolutely. And if you don't know what 6 feet is, go ahead and you can go to our store at it's am I saying that right? What's play myshopify.com. That's it. And you can get a 6-foot poster of me, Stephen with a PH. And you can use that as your measuring stick to lay out. You can step on it if you want to. It's a life-size poster of myself, brought to you by the Who Cares podcast. And Joel, if you'd like, we can make one for you too.
I'm good on that, too.
Yeah. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Feel like I'm destined. I don't need no Smith and Weston, no. But who you testing? Fuck a scantron, here's your lesson, no. Knifing and testing, taking shots at all your breath, no. Feel like I'm damaged, you fucking playing it. Come for me, give it right. Don't you know you come and give it right. Come for me, give it right. Don't you know you come and give it right. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga. Shorty look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, man. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you trippin'? Get your Moraga.